class, this video discussion internalizes the importance of lesson objectives in giving way to lesson planning. In the Bible, when Christ was born, a message to the three kings was sent through a star. It led them to Bethlehem where they found Jesus. In teaching, our guiding star is the objective. Without this, there is no sense of direction. And without this, we teachers do not know where to focus on. The following are the guiding principles in determining and formulating lesson objectives. The first one is begin with the end in mind. It is actually a statement from Covey, the author of 7 Habits of Effective People. In teaching, we must set our goal before beginning the lesson. With a definite lesson objective in mind, we do not lose sight of what we intend to teach. With a SMART objective, our lesson will be focused. To that, we are sure of what to teach, how to teach, and what materials to use. The second guiding principle is share lesson objectives with students. Before beginning the lesson, let us give the students a hint of what they will achieve and they would become. Do not state that my objectives are blah blah blah, not that. I actually remembered our catechist in grade 6, writing her objectives in teaching. I digested it hardly. Did you know why? Well, I felt so pressured to digest the word objective. Ang hirap kaya. That is because students are not bound to use the jargon because it is just for teachers. So, instead of doing the same way, just say, class, today you will be equipped to distinguish the different rules of subject and verb agreement, where at the end, you're going to construct sentences in each rule. This would be so helpful when you write your essays in different subjects. So, if I were you, I would open my eyes and ears wide. Class, by saying those, you're letting your students prepare their armor for the battle of learning. The third guiding principle is lesson objectives must be in 2 or 3 domains. What are the 3 domains in teaching and learning process? They are the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, presented in that manner. Cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Imagine a triangle, the equilateral one. At the base are the cognitive and psychomotor, and at the apex is the affective domain. How could it be? Well, because it is so important to include attitude and value formation. When we target the affective objective, the rest of the objectives follows. That is why I let my students start achieving the affective domain in motivation part. To that, value integration matters. Class, if we only teach for cognition, we may end up head knowledge that is measured in test, then completely forgotten. If we teach only for skill unaccompanied by values, we may contribute to formation of monsters who oppress and take advantage of the unskilled and the unlearned. If you do not want to contribute doing such, then target the apex of the triangle. The fourth guiding principle is work on significant and relevant lesson objectives. Well, how could that be? So simple yet challenging. It is through connecting our lesson objective to our students' life experiences. It is because their self-motivation increases if lesson objective is relevant to daily life. For example, in math, where addition is the topic, to let the students be more engaged, use problems with thriftiness to give students a meaning in absorbing knowledge. I suggest to use thriftiness as theme for all your activities, from practice tests to post tests. To that, affective objective matters because connection to real life is established. The fifth guiding principle is lesson objective must be aligned with the aims of education as embodied in the Philippine Constitution and other laws, and on the vision, mission statements of the educational institution of what you are a part. Actually, class, the topics and competencies to be taught are all actually dependent on Philippine Constitution. Andyan na yan. What we teachers really need to modify each lesson is to see if there is a more effective strategy that suits our kind of students. The sixth guiding principle is aim at the development of critical and creative thinking. Class, we need to ask high-level, more divergent and open-ended types of questions to students to formulate critical and creative thinking, so that we are letting them think. We need to avoid the low-level one by just asking a question which just direct to one answer. Let our students think. Let us encourage them to think, because 21st century learners must have a higher order thinking skill. The seventh and last guiding principle in formulating objective is for accountability of learning, lesson objectives must be SMART. We have SMART. SMART objectives increase our accountability for learning of our students. Actually, the test we are going to give is so dependent to our lesson objectives. That is why kailangan SMART. And if we have SMART lesson objectives, there is a greater match between instruction and assessment. To that, there is a curriculum alignment. Actually, cognitive objective is attained all throughout the discussion. Affective is primarily established in motivation and until the discussion. Also, the last one is the psychomotor. The psychomotor objective is seen in discussion. Particularly, it is congruent to application and evaluation part of lesson planning. Here are the given examples for lesson objectives. As you can see, we have 5. And if you would analyze, they are in different levels. So, class, watch the videos regarding lesson objectives by Ma'am Danica Lorenzo for further information regarding constructing objective.